You're like,
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. This is Atar Shahbaz Wani. I'm a senior research fellow in the Department of Islamic Studies, Islamic University of Science and Technology. The area of my specialization is Islamic banking and economic thought. Today, I'll be speaking on topic Islamic financing or Islamic banking and financing in Kasheer, its impediments and prospectus. My sincere reverences to the worthy management and the team of Band for making this event possible, for inviting me for this session. At the very onset, I think it's incumbent upon me that I must relate some important facts regarding the topic under frame, which is very necessary for understanding this topic in context of Islamic banking and finance in as far as non-Muslim jurisdictions are concerned. Uh, First and the foremost issue is that whenever Islamic banking and finance thought is discussed in non-Muslim jurisdictions, here in this case India, Kashmir is a part of India. In this case, when it is very necessary for the stakeholders of Islamic finance thought who pursue the case of Islamic finance in non-Muslim jurisdictions not to come in direct conflict with the established rules and regulations, with the established, I can say, financial regulations of the financial regulatory authorities. Here, in this case, RBI. It's very necessary. It is better to uh, approach the case in a supplementary mode, not in a complementary mode, and not in an alternative mode. Second important thing which is very necessary to understand here is that Islamic finance in India has some important determinants, and out of them, uh, in addition to the growing Muslim population, political and government at the center, their will, policymakers, financial economists, conventional financial experts, Islamic economists, traders, manufacturers, uh, students, university professors, they all are the important stakeholders as far as Islamic banking and finance thought and its implementation in India is concerned. So I will directly move to the topic which has been given to me, that is Islamic banking and finance in Kashmir, impediments and prospects. Slide, please. Yes. Uh, I have been told to speak in Kashmiri. I will try my level best to be in trilingual English, Urdu, and Kashmiri because whenever we discuss Islamic finance, there are some terminology issues. या तिस क्या terminology issue यहून मुतबادل कशरिस मज या उर्दूस मज अगर आश तो मेन नजर मज छुन कह कोशिश कर बह पन कथ त्रनवनी मिक्सअप लैंग्वेज मज वातनावच युथ Islamic finance कथ करान Islamic finance or Islamic finance industry in the corporate sense and Islamic finance system in the academic sense. Yeh offshoot tim Islamic economic thought yus work out karna from 1940 to 1970s. 19 1940s के बाद हम देखते हैं कि when Muslim lands, particularly Muslim countries or the Muslim world, liberated themselves from the harsh clutches of colonization, the biggest challenge in front of the Muslim intelligentsia at that time was to reconstruct, was to rethink over their decayed socio-political and economic institutions. Out of them, उस इकोनॉमिक पैराडाइम कुरानुक या ज़्यादा बहन एक्सप्लोर करना और हम क्या देखते हैं कि 1940 से लेकर 1970s तक टॉप ब्रॉस मुस्लिम इकोनॉमिस्ट्स, उलमा, scholars, individual scholars, independent scholars, they come forward with some top brass books. Yath must be now Hekwanit, Molana Siyahar sir from India, Molana Modudi, Molana Manazir Hassan Gilani sir, Sheikh Irshad Ahmad, Nijatullah Siddiqui, Muhammad Uzair, Sheikh Mahmood Ahmad. They come forward with their ideas and they explored the economic paradigm of Quran and Sunnah और जो युस जिस्ट या युस सब्जेक्ट मैटर ओस یِمن کِتابن ہُنٛد یِمن thesis ہُنٛد یا یِمن researchن ہُنٛد سُہ اوس simply رِبا whether you call it usury or interest. This is a debatable issue یُس نہٕ وٕنکیٚس اَسہِ یتھ lecture part چھُ کینٛہہ. Its prohibition and its demerits spiritual and material. Acha, criticisms of socialism and capitalism, because it's a talk of 1940s when socialism was at its peak and capitalism was also at its peak in other part of the world. तो इनके बीच में एक ऐसी बात करनी इस्लामिक इकोनॉमिक्स की, ये उस वक्त इन दोनों सिस्टम्स को साथ लेके ये कंपाइलेशन चली. अच्छा, this period has also given some important, I can say, initial perception about Islamic banking. अच्छा, ये तो Islamic banking नाम के, ये तो interestless banking, because initially Islamic banking name was never used in the initial compilations. It was used interest free or interest less banking. As a popular description, we use the word Islamic banking. अच्छा, इसके पीछे भी एक रीज़न है अपनी अपनी चॉइस के हिसाब से. लेकिन जो कन्वेंशनल रेटिंग एजेंसीज हैं या कन्वेंशनल फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस है, they identify this system with the name Islamic banking, not interestless or interest-free banking. Okay, now from 1970s onwards, we see the practical implementation of those ideas, of those theories into the corporate sector with the establishment of Islamic Development Bank, that is headquartered in Jeddah and under the aegis of OIC, Organization of Islamic Conference. Uh, Primarily, Islamic Development Bank should a commercial bank kya hai? Scheduled commercial bank या commercial bank chun kya? It is simply a multilateral agency which oversees the economic emancipation of its member countries. उसके बाद 1980s में इसी इस्लामिक डेवलपमेंट के तहत एक रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट कायम किया गया जिसका नाम रखा गया इरदी, इस्लामिक रिसर्च एंड ट्रेनिंग इंस्टीट्यूट. फिर उसमें ऐड हुआ इसके रोल्स में टू फॉस्टर द Islamic economic thought, Islamic banking thought all over the world. And we have seen that after the establishment of IDB Jeddah, Dubai Islamic Bank in the same year, and the proliferation of Islamic banks all over the Middle East, Southeast Asia, Europe, and America. Next slide. अच्छा, current position क्या है Islamic finance industry की? When I use the term Islamic finance industry, I am concerning towards corporate sense. As you can see, Islamic finance this time is practiced in more than 75 nations around the world. Jurisdictions का मतलब law में nations ही countries होती हैं. अच्छा, these 75 nations are both Muslims and non-Muslim countries with 600 plus institutions. When I say institutions, it means Islamic finance is comprised of mainly Islamic banks, Islamic capital market, and Islamic insurance, takaful houses or takaful industries. Assets are touching 4 trillion US dollars. It is serving 38 million customers. Its regulation is now suitable. Acha, risks are particularly about Sharia compatibility factor. Questions are raising on this issue. Non-Sharia compliance risks, particularly from different contractors. उसमें हम अभी नहीं जाएंगे. Uh, After September 9/11, we see the rejuvenation of Islamic finance industry as far as its standardization, systemization is concerned. And अनटैप्ड मार्केट एक इशू है इस वक्त इस्लामिक फाइनेंस इंडस्ट्री के तहत कि अब इस्लामिक फाइनेंस मुस्लिम वर्ल्ड से या मुस्लिम डोमिनेटेड स्टेट्स से जुरिस्डिक्शन से निकल कर नॉन मुस्लिम जुरिस्डिक्शंस की तरफ कैसे आए. दैट इज़ वन ऑफ द ग्रे एरिया जहां हमारा टॉपिक इस वक्त फॉल होता है. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. Okay, it's very important fundamental principles of Islamic finance. Look, if we talk about Islamic finance, whether you will talk about Islamic banking, Islamic capital market, or any kind of Islamic finance intermediation, these are the fundamental principles which are very necessary for the proper abidance. You see that these principles are based on some prohibitions and some encouragements. If we will see prohibition of riba, it has been unequally spoken in the Quran. The relevant Quranic verses are there. Now, here the question arises: is this the riba which has been spoken in the Quran the same interest or riba, which is this time rampant in the financial industry. On this issue, Muslim intelligentsia is divided into two schools. One is usurious school of thought, and another is non-usurious school of thought. For example, uh, जो मेजॉरिटी स्कॉलर्स की है वो ये मानते हैं कि ये वही रिबा है जो कुरान में बोला गया, जो कुरान में बताया गया, और जिसके स्पिरिचुअल एंड इकोनॉमिक डिमेरिट्स बताए गए, ये वही रिबा है जो इस वक्त हम दुनिया में देख रहे हैं। लेकिन कुछ परसेंटेज स्कॉलर्स की ऐसी है ओके जो कि बहुत इन्फ्लुएंशियल है, उनकी राय ये है कि यू शुड सिंपल इंटरेस्ट, इट इज़ अ साइकिलिंग ऑफ मनी, इट इज़ नॉट एक्सप्लॉयटेटिव, it is not usurious, it is an exchange of money, it's a cycling of money, it's not like that. अब इस पे सही कौन है? एक यूजरियस स्कूल ऑफ थॉट के पास अपने जस्टिफिकेशंस हैं एंड नॉन यूजरियस स्कूल ऑफ थॉट के पास अपनी जस्टिफिकेशंस हैं। एट द एंड ऑफ दिस लेक्चर मैं उस पर बात करूंगा अगर टाइम मिला। नाउ सेकंड प्रोहिबिशन इज अवॉइडेंस ऑफ गरर विद द रिबा, अवॉइडेंस ऑफ रिबा, द प्रोहिबिशन ऑफ गरर, all those transactions where excessive risk or deception or I mean to say um, lack of information about the contract or about the subject matter of the contract is concerned, that is also not allowed in Islam. With this miser and kimar, that's games of chance, it's also not part of Islamic financial intermediation. Okay, all those trading activities which involve alcoholic beverages, pork, and illicit activities, they're also not allowed. Now, profit loss sharing mechanism is the basic building block upon which entire Islamic finance system rests. In Islamic commercial law, that is Fiqh Muamalatul Maliya, there is a term al kharaj bis zaman, that is, if one is not ready to bear the risk, loss of risk, okay, he or she is not supposed to expect the profits. So profits and risks are directly proportional to each other. This is one of the encouragement. And after that, the last Sharia advisory board, this is very necessary part and parcel of any Islamic financial intermediation in the Islamic finance industry, the presence of a Sharia board which will check the authenticity of the contractors, authenticity of the productus, instrumentus, as far as Sharia paradigm, as far as Fiqh Muamalatul Maliya, as far as Islamic commercial law is concerned. So these are the fundamental principles which are necessary for any kind of Islamic financial intermediation. Next slide. Okay. Now moving towards India. Islamic finance की बात इंडिया में कुछ नई नहीं है. We have seen from 2005 onwards, Reserve Bank of India, which is the apex regulatory authority, has come forward with some, I can say, comprehensive reports regarding the authenticity, regarding the working model, regarding the I mean to say possibility of Islamic finance in Islam, in non-Muslim jurisdiction, or in the paradigm, Indian paradigm. You see, the first committee in 2005 is Anand Sinha committee. Uh, uh, ये जो आनंद सिन्हा कमिटी है, they have given some recommendations. Outrightly, they have not rejected the idea of Islamic banking, but they said that if Islamic banking is supposed to operate in India, there should be some amendments as far as Banking Regulation Act 1949 is concerned. Okay, and with those Banking Regulation Act amendments, some taxation uh, amendment, some taxation laws amendments are also incumbent. After that, we have seen Raghuram Rajan report on financial sector reforms. This report has highlighted the importance of Islamic finance or Islamic interest-free banking. With the name interest-free banking, they have used the name interest-free banking as far as financial inclusion concept is concerned, as there are a lot of people in India who remain financially excluded from the mainstream finance due to their religious obligations, particularly riba, and it is very necessary for us to get them back into this financial stream through interest-free finances. After that, 2013, this is very important, interdepartmental group of RBI headed by Rajesh Verma in 2013. This group has given, in addition to highlighting the legal impediments and continuity of Anand Sinha and Raghuram Rajan report findings, they have given the option of interest-free windows in the commercial scheduled commercial banks, selected scheduled commercial bankers as an option for Muslim population or for general on experiment basis. Now, after that, we have seen RBI report on medium-term path and financial inclusion. This has been given by the Bashish Monti. This committee has again highlighted the, I mean to say, scope of Islamic finance as far as financial inclusion concept is concerned. Outrightly, all these committees have not rejected the idea of Islamic banking in India, but they have given their recommendations to go for, I mean to say, comprehensive amendments as far as banking regulations, taxation regulations in India is concerned. Next, ओके, सो दीज आर द इम्पिडिमेंट्स, ये कुछ इम्पिडिमेंट्स ये मैंने यहाँ हाईलाइट किए हैं. बैंकिंग एक्ट 1949, लीगल इम्पिडिमेंट्स और प्रूडेंशियल इम्पिडिमेंट्स. अच्छा, if Islamic banking is, or Islamic banking is supposed to operate in India, these are the impediments, ये रुकावटें हो सकती है. जैसे सेक्शन 8 की बात करें, it prohibits buying and selling of goods. This is the main difference. Conventional financial intermediation is a case of money, is a case of credit, is a case of debit. There is not involved any kind of asset. Whether Islamic financial intermediation or Islamic banks, or in on the side of liability side, okay, or on the side of asset side, और फंड मोबिलाइजेशन साइड, जहाँ से भी जो भी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट यूज होता है, चाहे पार्टनरशिप कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स की बात हम करें, मुशारिका मुजारिबा, चाहे हम सेल बेस्ड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स की बात करें, मुराबहा या बायसलम, या इस्तिस्ना की बात करें, या लीजिंग की बात करें, इजारा, हर जगह जो अंडरलाइंग ऑब्लिगेशन है वो एक एसेट पे काम होगा. Assets are involved. It means that banks here are not involved to operate trading. This is the main difference. और उसके बाद this is self explanatory, prohibition the usage of any movable property, section 9 यही बोल रहा है. Section 5b 5c, which are against the profit loss sharing mechanism, which is the main crux of Islamic finance intermediation. And nomenclature is also an issue here. I mean to say, nomenclature of the contracts of Islamic finance, how those are Arabic words. Even, I mean to say, musharika, muzaribaha, istisna, murabaha, इजारा व इक्तना, दीज आर अरबिक वर्ड्स. अब नॉमन कल्चर की बात है कि अगर इम्प्लीमेंटेशन इस्लामिक बैंकिंग होती है तो इन नामों के साथ होगी या इनका डिफरेंट वर्जन इंडियन पैराडाइम के तहत हमें करना पड़ेगा. दिस इज ऑल्सो एन इशू. ओके, आफ्टर दैट सम रिक्वायरमेंट्स, आई मीन टू से सेक्शन 21 22, interest as a prerequisite, and their interest is forbidden. So these are the main impediments from this side. Now if we will see prudential impediments, that's monetary related, इसमें मैं तीन चीजें highlight करना चाहूँगा. Sharia governance, this is the main factor. अगर इस्लामिक बैंकिंग और इस्लामिक बैंकिंग की ही बात करें, इंडिया में इम्प्लीमेंट होती है तो इसकी शरिया गवर्नेंस कौन करेगा? क्या आरबीआई, रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया के तहत ऐसी कुछ प्रेसिडेंसेस हैं कि शरिया बोर्ड और राइडिंग अथॉरिटी ऑफ आरबीआई के अंडर काम करें? ऐसा हो सकता है. दिस इज द इशू. Tax and stamp duties is issue, as I told you that real assets are involved in the contracts of Islamic banking, whether murabaha, istisna, ijara. उनकी टैक्स ड्यूटी का मसला है. सबसे पहले तो बैंक वो एसेट खरीदता है, उसके बाद उसको एक ड्यूटी, टैक्स स्टैम्प ड्यूटी देनी है, उसके बाद ओनरशिप ट्रांसफर होगी फ्रॉम बैंक टू द कस्टमर, फिर कस्टमर को दूसरा स्टैम्प ड्यूटीज देना है. So this will be the issue, double stamp duties. Even it is to be noted here, UK, which is now the hub of Islamic finance, they have discarded this double stamp duties as far as Islamic finance there is concerned. Now, constitutional validity, there are some opponents who said that it is a violation of Article 15 and Article 16, equality before law, and prohibition on the basis of discrimination on the basis of religion, caste, creed. So these are some impediments which need to be handled by the legal experts from Islamic finance side. Next slide. Okay. Now moving to Kashmir. Ak modest approach which اَسہِ زٕ ساس اردہس منٛز, when Dr. Raja Muzaffar Bhatt is a RTI expert, he filed a PIL. This slide is very important to understand the context of Islamic banking in Kashmir. You see that uh, they have highlighted in a petition that interest-free windows should be allowed in Jammu Kashmir Bank. Non-performing assets are booming in Jammu Kashmir Bank. और जब हम इंटरेस्ट फ्री विंडोज की बात करेंगे तो प्रॉफिट लॉस शेयरिंग मैकेनिज्म के तहत ये नॉन परफॉर्मिंग एसेट्स की परसेंटेज कम होगी. Okay, they have used the reference of 2013 committee Rajesh Verma interest free windows. But this PIL has been discarded, dismissed outrightly on the basis of policy decision of the government. It's very necessary here. This is the policy. This is the I mean to say I can say the government will and political will. This is the importance of the political will and the government will. They disapproved on the basis of the decision of the government of India in 2017 not to pursue Islamic banking in India without any discussion. Now, दूसरा केस देखिए, केरला का केस. Dr. Subramanian Savi, who is a BJP ideologue, he has filed a petition against the state of Kerala. Here, in first case, PIL is filed by NGO, not by the government in Jammu and Kashmir. Here, Subramanian Swamy has filed a case or petition against the state of Kerala. The state of Kerala, with Kerala State Industrial Development Corporation, and in collaboration with Al Baraka Financial Services of the Middle East, were supposed to create Chiraman Financial Services. This Chiraman Financial Services is an autonomous, uh, interest-free financial institution, Islamic investment company. Okay, जब ये केस कोर्ट में पहुंचा एंड सुब्रमण्यन स्वामी साहब ने सबसे बड़ी जो वायलेशन इसके बारे में बोली, इट इज अ वायलेशन ऑफ द सेक्युलर एस्पेक्ट ऑफ इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अंडर आर्टिकल 27. एक साल ये केस चला. अल्टीमेटली द डिसीजन वाज गिवन इन फेवर ऑफ चेयरमैन फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज और इन फेवर ऑफ state of Kerala. Here you can see the difference and the importance of the political will. When the government is interested in implementing anything, then anything is possible. In the first case, government is not interested. In the second case, government is interested, and we see the establishment of Chairman Financial Services in state of Kerala. Next slide. Okay. Now, in this legislative deadlock of Islamic banking in India, what could be the possibilities? These are the possibilities. These could be the models, and which will reflect in Kashmir as well. Listen, यहाँ पे एक बात बहुत कहनी ज़रूरी है मुझे कि जब हम एपेक्स रेगुलेटरी अथॉरिटीज़, फाइनेंशियल रेगुलेटरी अथॉरिटीज़ की बात करते हैं, जिसमें नंबर 1 आपका रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया आता है, नंबर 2 आपका सेबी आता है, सिक्योरिटीज एंड एक्सचेंज बोर्ड ऑफ इंडिया, नंबर 3 आपका IRDA आता है, दैट इज इंश्योरेंस रेगुलेटरी डेवलपमेंट अथॉरिटी आता है. इनकी जो भी रेगुलेशंस है वो ऑल ओवर इंडिया हर किसी स्टेट के लिए सेम होगी और कश्मीर के लिए भी वही इम्प्लीमेंट होगी. यानी कि जो भी डिसीजन गवर्नमेंट के तहत मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, इस्लामिक बैंकिंग के तहत मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, इस्लामिक फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस, अदर इंस्टीट्यूशंस के लिए नहीं, इस्लामिक बैंकिंग के लिए जो भी डिसीजन वहाँ से निकलेगा वही डिसीजन इम्प्लीमेंट होगा हर जगह जहाँ इस्लामिक बैंकिंग का केस परस्यू किया जा रहा है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, financial association of persons could be the possibility. These are self-help groups. When Baitul Mal is Hakobani, these are unregistered. You impact into the strong camp. Islamic financial societies हो सकती हैं हमारे लिए. ये चैरिटेबल सोसाइटीज ये रजिस्टर हो सकती हैं. इस्लामिक कोऑपरेटिव क्रेडिट सोसाइटीज हो सकती हैं हमारे लिए मॉडल इन दिस डेडलॉक. अच्छा, these are registered under State Cooperative Societies Act. Islamic Investment Financial Companies under registered under 1956 Companies Act. ये हमारे लिए, ये 4 मॉडल्स हमारे लिए पॉसिबिलिटीज बन सकती है इन दिस डेडलॉक, द पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ इस्लामिक फाइनेंसिंग और इस्लामिक फाइनेंस इन कश्मीर, दैट टू इन इंडिया एज वेल. नेक्स्ट. Okay. Now, possible microfinance models in Kashmir. You see, these are the models. First, microfinance simply refers microloans. I mean to say microfinance I mean to target it to that section of the population which are financially excluded. Okay. Now, Islamic microfinance channels क्या करती हैं? Islamic microfinance channels integrate करती हैं redistributive channels of Islam that is based on zakat, that is based on wakaf, that is based on zakat, wakaf and sadaqah. Okay, ये redistributive channels of Islam with the establishment of microfinance institution बनान छु यह अख नो paradigm Islamic finance मस बनावा यथ वनान छ Islamic social finance. I have written a paper on this, the role of Islamic social finance in the upliftment of the marginalized in India. Now here it is very necessary, we first have to see one thing. ये जो सोर्स की बात हो रही है यहाँ पे माइक्रो फाइनेंस मॉडल्स इन कश्मीर, मॉडल्स तो हम कोई भी बना सकते हैं, जैसे मैंने यहाँ पे वकफ बेस्ड मॉडल जका और वकफ मॉडल को इंटीग्रेट किया है, इंटीग्रेटेड जका एंड वकफ मॉडल हमारे लिए, हमारे सामने ऑलरेडी ये मॉडल्स हैं। लेकिन माइक्रो फाइनेंस इंस्टीट्यूशन जब कायम हो जाएगा उसका सोर्स ऑफ फंड्स यही रिडिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड चैनल्स रहेंगी। अब हमें देखना है कि ये रिडिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड चैनल्स जो हैं जका और वकफ, सदका तो आप छोड़ दीजिए, ज़कात और वक़्फ़, इनकी पोजीशन क्या है? इनकी पोजीशन बहुत ही डिस्टॉर्टेड है एज फार एज इंडिया इज कंसर्न। यहाँ पे मैं कोट करना चाहूँगा अपना पेपर जो मैंने 2 साल पहले लिखा। इफ आई कैन कोट फ्रॉम हियर, यू सी दैट इन कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ इंडिया आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट zakat institution is devoid of any official data. There is not any official data as far as it is collection and disbursement is concerned. Okay, there is a regulatory vacuum, and this is the biggest mismanagement as far as zakat is concerned. Okay, now ak survey गई मुंबई में, तक एसोसिएशन ऑफ मुस्लिम प्रोफेशनल्स, उन्होंने 2020 में एक सर्वे की रिगार्डिंग zakat. What are their findings? The survey depicts that 94% of the respondents from 191 cities of India accepted that zakat management in India is in shambles and asking for improvement. Not only this, in context of zakat, when we relate zakat to the Human Development Index, it is estimated that 75% of the respondents opined, they accepted that the potential of zakat is high as far as the development of education, economic empowerment, and self-employment in India is concerned. The survey highlights that large portion of the Indian Muslims, including Kashmiri Muslims, they donate zakat without any special focus for education, for health, for economic empowerment purposes. It is further established that the collective zakat, infiradi ne kya, ijtimai zakat, eksi jai, is regarded as a remedy for the untapped and mismanagement issues of zakat in India in relation to the Muslim marginalization. These are the findings. Now moving towards the wakaf, because zakat and wakaf is the main source of funds of this microfinance. अगर हम माइक्रोफाइनेंस चैनल्स को क्रिएट करेंगे, पैसा कहाँ से आएगा? पैसा इन्हीं दो चैनल से आएगा, और इन दो रिडिस्ट्रीब्यूटिव चैनल्स की कंडीशन क्या है उस पर भी काम करने की जरूरत है जब हम इस्लामिक फाइनेंस के गोल्स की तरफ जाएंगे जो कि सोशो इकोनॉमिक जस्टिस की बात करता है. It is very necessary to criticize a thing if you really want to gain some elevation, if you really want to gain some success. वकफ इंस्टीट्यूशन की अगर मैं बात करूं, it is also distorted. For example, गोपाल पैनल पहली कमेटी बनी 1983 में जिसने वकफ का जिक्र किया, और उस वक्त उन्होंने कहा कि वकफ का एक बहुत बड़ा रोल हो सकता है as far as education empowerment of the Muslims in India is concerned. Nothing has happened in that. After that 26 years, another bill was produced, that is Sachar committee. The same, he has highlighted the same importance of the wakaf. Nothing has happened. Now, if I will quote from here, yes, the potential of zakat in India. For example, I will. It is a report of Islamic Research and Training Institute (IRTI). You see that the analysis of IRTI states that 0.630% of GDP can be generated from Muslim zakat resources as a potential for the upliftment of as a potential of zakat for the upliftment of the Muslims in India. अच्छा, अब हमें ज़रूरत कितनी है? कितने रिसोर्सेज की हमें ज़रूरत है कि इस मुस्लिम पॉपुलेशन या मार्जिनलाइज्ड पॉपुलेशन जो भी है, ठीक है ना, इसको अपलिफ्ट करने के लिए वी नीड ओनली 0.344% ऑफ जीडीपी एट $2 per day required for Muslim population upliftment in India. After all these issues, it can be asserted here that first we need to restructure the zakat structure and wakaf structure as far as their professional handling and regulation is concerned. Only that, only then, जो माइक्रो फाइनेंस इंस्टीट्यूशन है they can work better and better. Next slide. Okay. Now, سانہِ خٲطرٕ چھُ خوش نصیٖبی ہٕنٛز کَتھ کہِ مِسٹر محبوٗب مخدوٗمی یِم فِلینتھراپِسٹ تہِ چھِ یِم ماشاء اللہ اکھ ایجوکیشنِسٹ تہِ چھِ یِہٕنٛز ایبل ٹیٖم چھِ یِمو کوٚر اکھ رِپوٹ تیار یِہٕنٛز اکھ ویب سایٹ تہِ چھِ چلان اِسلامِک بینکِنگ کشمیٖر آی کین سے یِم چھِ اکھ پرومِننٹ تہٕ پرایمرلی یُس سِٹپ اِسلامِک بینکِنگ کشمیٖرس مُتعلق کٲنٛسہِ نیوٗ سُہ نیوٗ مِسٹر محبوٗب مخدوٗمی اینڈ ہِز ایبل ٹیٖم اکھ رِپوٹ کوٚر یِمو تیار مگر مےٚ چھُنہٕ پوٗرٕ یہِ انداز کینٛہہ کہِ یہِ رِپوٹ چھا سبمِٹ گوٚمُت آر ٹی آیَس کِنہٕ نہ بٹ اِٹ اِز ایویلیبل اینڈ د پوٹینشل آف اِسلامِک بینکِنگ اِن جموں اینڈ کشمیٖر اینڈ one of the I can say one of the able members, founding members of this IBK is Dr. Muhammad Iqbal Malik, who is a senior assistant professor in the Department of Higher Education. He is one of the writer of this recently Gemit Masjid, and he said that after that the interest of the people is not getting in it because we are not supposed to compact our ideas or collect our ideas on a common platform. अच्छा, उनके क्वेश्चन जो थे that was about perception of respondents with respect to interest free banking in Kashmir, conventional versus Islamic banking, their modus operandi, organizational structure, why interest free banking, how interest free banking, opportunities for interest free banking in Kashmir in the long run, willingness to enroll for Islamic finance, and the results are astonishing. इस रिपोर्ट के रिजल्ट जो सर्वे बेस्ड था और उनकी जो सैम्पलिंग थी, उनके जो मेंबर्स थे सैम्पलिंग के, दैट वाज बिटवीन एज मेंबर्स बिटवीन 18 to 50, ठीक है, मेजर पॉपुलेशन एंड they said that 95% of the people accepted that riba is a problem as far as conventional banking is concerned. 96% agree that Islamic banking window can be an option in the Jammu and Kashmir Bank. They agree that the conventional banking is exploitative. Acha. They are very much enthusiastic and they are very much, I can say, उनको उम्मीद है that economic inequality can be reduced here. यहाँ मैं रुकाना चाहूँगा. ये जो इकोनॉमिक इनइक्वालिटी की बात है, इस पे एक पॉइंट यहाँ पे बड़ा ज़रूरी है इन कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ दिस, बिकॉज इकोनॉमिक इनइक्वालिटी की जब बात आई तो मैं आपको बता दूँ, देयर इज अ रिपोर्ट ऑफ Oxfam India has a report in 2018. The report is like that the liberalization of Indian economy in 1990s has not liberated the economy of all. It has liberated the economy of the top elite 1%. The report further said that the top 1% of Indian economy of this elite group, they have substantially grown their resources to 20.7 lakh crores from only 2017 to 2018. Now, this extreme inequality as far as income patterns and wealth patterns in India is concerned, and to substantiate this thing, there is another report of World Bank, that is World Inequality Report of 2022. They said that in India, top 10% holds 57% of the total national income, and the bottom 50% has only 5.9% share in the national income and wealth indicators. Now, more than that, the multidimensionality poverty index of 2018 from World Bank enlists Muslims along with some disadvantaged groups as the poorest strata in India. It means that economic inequality is a strong determinant for Islamic banking in India. This point should be highlighted whenever the case of Islamic finance is approached anywhere on the platform in Indian context. ये मैं कहना चाहता हूँ। बहुत सारी परसेंटेज ऐसी है जो कश्मीर में चाहते हैं कि कन्वेंशनल बैंक्स जो हैं वहाँ पे काउंसलर्स होने चाहिए जो हमें गाइड करें इस्लामिक बैंकिंग के बारे में, या यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में कोर्सेज होने चाहिए। एंड बहुत सारे तो इतने एंथुसियास्टिक हैं इस रिपोर्ट के मुताबिक दैट द सोल फाइनेंसिंग इन कश्मीर शुड बी इस्लामिक फाइनेंसिंग. It means the results are very prospective, the results are very positive as far as this survey is concerned. Now, what are the legal impediments? How we will uh, handle those legal impediments? It is up to the financial experts, legal experts. Next slide. Okay. Now, positive steps towards Islamic banking in Kashmir. Yes, it's very necessary. You see that in academics, unless we are not, अगर academics में अच्छा काम नहीं होता है, अगर researches अच्छी काम नहीं होती हैं researches में, तो आपको finance के in context में बता रहा हूँ, तो corporate world में आप expect positive results ना करें. Here I can see, you can see that module in Department of Islamic Studies IUST has been taught from the last 15 years by the able course instructor Dr. Shakot Hussain Dar sir. He's a senior assistant professor there. He is a course instructor and the course designer of Islamic finance and investment. After that, PhD thesis submit भी हुई है, मेरी अपनी भी है on Islamic banking and finance thought, वो भी हो रहा है. Okay, a diploma in Islamic banking from Department of Islamic Studies is in pipeline from IUST, and I hope under the dynamic leadership of its head, Dr. Professor Afroz Ahmad Bisati, this we will reach this feat inshallah. कॉर्पोरेट सेंस में और कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड में यहाँ पे हमारे लिए कौन से ऑप्शन है इस्लामिक फाइनेंस में? खुश नसीबी की बात है, एक मॉडेस्ट अप्रोच हमारे सामने आया है अनंतनाग से, that is Crescent Cooperative Limited. It's an autonomous interest-free financial institution. It's registered with Government of India under the Cooperative Societies Act, जो मैंने कहा कि एक मॉडल हो सकता है पहले स्लाइड में, और उनकी कुछ डिपॉजिट स्कीम्स हैं, कुछ फाइनेंसिंग स्कीम्स हैं जो कि यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं, और क्रक्स इन स्कीम्स का यही है इंटरेस्ट फ्री. दूसरी चीज इन स्कीम्स में हम देखते हैं यूज ऑफ इस्लामिक फाइनेंशियल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, चाहे मुराबाहा, इस्तिस्ना या इजारा की बात हो. नाउ हियर इज एक पॉइंट यहाँ पे ये हो सकता है कि इनका जो शरिया एडवाइजरी बोर्ड है, आई एम नॉट अवेयर ऑफ दैट वेदर दे हैव अ शरिया एडवाइजरी बोर्ड और नॉट. इफ दे हैव, इट इज ओके. If they don't have, they should constitute as early as possible, because this is the modest approach in Kashmir after Kerala and in some parts. And most of the people in Kashmir are not aware that Crescent Cooperative Limited Anantnag is working. Next slide. Okay, now recommendations. You see, मेरी recommendations यही हैं as a student of Islamic finance कि सबसे पहले हम aware करें लोगों को. Awareness is very necessary about the modus operandi, about the organizational structure of Islamic finance, about its different sectors, about its criticisms, about its history, about its evolution. It's very necessary for, I mean to say, for journalists, independent research scholars from the universities, from the journalists, and from the platforms like Pen Online, Islamic Studies Academic Forum, that's also one of the platform. उनकी ये जिम्मेवारी है कि इसको अवेयर किया जाए, इसके बारे में अवेयरनेस हो. आफ्टर दैट पार्लियामेंट्री कमिटीज, इस चीज़ को हम डिनाई नहीं कर सकते. जो भी रिपोर्ट्स आए, चाहे आनंद सिन्हा कमेटी की रिपोर्ट हो, रघुराम राजन की रिपोर्ट हो, या इंटर डिपार्टमेंटल ग्रुप राजेश वर्मा हो, या दिबाशीष मोहंती की रिपोर्ट हो, उनकी रिकमेंडेशंस हर वक्त एक सोर्स रहेंगी. हर वक्त जब भी इस्लामिक फाइनेंस केस डिस्कस किया जाएगा, नॉन मुस्लिम jurisdiction, फॉर एग्जांपल इन इंडिया, okay, we have to work out that how a Sharia board can be established in RBI. अगर ऐसा कोई प्रेसिडेंट, ऐसा कोई jurisdiction वहाँ पे नहीं है, तो लीगल स्कॉलर्स जो हमारे हैं, जो हमारे उलमा हजरात हैं, उनको को इस बारे में सामने आना चाहिए कि एक शरिया बोर्ड जो कि बेस होगा फ़िक्र मामलातुल मालिया पे, जो कि ट्रेंड होगा इस्लामिक कमर्शियल लॉ में, उनकी प्लेस हम रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया में कैसे ढूंढें। This is also one of the important recommendations, because this Islamic finance structure, Islamic finance intermediation, is all about Sharia, is all about economic teachings of Quran and the Sunnah. Now, empowerment of existing, this is very important, empowerment of existing Islamic investment companies. Islamic financial intermediation और Islamic finance architecture India में जिस शेप में भी है, चाहे इस्लामिक इन्वेस्टमेंट कंपनीज हैं या क्रेडिट कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज हैं, एक पिटीशन या एक रिकमेंडेशन ऐसी भी जानी चाहिए गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की तरफ कि इनको ही एक बैंकिंग लाइसेंस दी जाए ऑन एक्सपेरिमेंटल बेसिस, बनस्बत ये कि हम दूसरे बैंक के बारे में डिमांड करें. It is better to empower existing Islamic finance investment companies or credit cooperative societies to enlarge the horizon of their activities as far as Islamic financing is concerned. And we had to find out the alternate legislative models for Islamic banking in India. जो भी मैंने आपको बैंकिंग रेगुलेशन एक्ट 1949 की इम्प्लीमेंट्स में बात की, क्या उनका सोल्यूशन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में है? Legal experts has to think over it. These are my humble recommendations. Thank you for patient listening. If there is any question, thank you very much. So okay, you can pass it. Thank you. Thank you.